up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, back in here with one more video. All right, guys, you see the title, you see the thumbnail. Kevin Samuels challenges men's beauty standards. Shout out to the Roommates podcast. Okay, looks like their channel has been blowing up over the last month or so. Shout out to them. I have not seen this video yet, but I looked at the title and I said to myself, this is a really interesting discussion. At least I think it will be. Men's beauty standards. Here's what I thought about. Even beauty standards in my lifetime have changed significantly. Significantly. I remember back in the day, the gold standard was what you see on these magazines, these skinny, itty bitty, underweight models, and you look at today, pick your social media poison of choice, and what the bodies look like today, what the beauty standards look like today. It's really interesting if you understand the history of it. You understand what I'm saying? But let's see. Let's check out this discussion. Without further ado.
One of the first things I don't do is I don't judge why a person wants what they want. If women say they want a man who's 6 feet tall, 6 feet, okay, that's what you want, you just want. And same thing with a man. If that's what you want, that's what you want. But let's say the typical attractive woman, what is she wanting? Well, her beauty is currency. Yeah. She wants a good deal. So the basic line I've kind of given guys, however much her beauty's worth, that's how much she's looking for on the dollar side. And I asked the guy, why do you want her more than anything else? And what these guys tend to want is they want her for acceptance. But here's the thing. I don't have a problem with hypergamy. Understand something. Women want you to be able to pay the bills. All of them. One of my most insightful questions I ask women, do you want to have to pay substantial bills after you're pregnant? And out of the 6 months of asking that question, I've had 2 women say I don't mind. That means across the board.
Just real quick, let me comment on a couple of things. So first, the conversation started off and Kevin was saying that he doesn't question where their standards are. But I think that he does, though. The times that I've viewed his channel, I've seen like a rating scale. You know, what would you rate yourself on? And then they give a rating, and then they say height, weight, da-da-da. And then he then concludes that depending upon where they're at in their life, if they have a realistic expectation of what it is that they expect, which is a man who's hot, super high value, paying enough money for the lifestyle that they want to live. So that's the first thing. But at the same time, though, I think that bringing people to a reality of what it is that they can actually get for the lifestyle that they want to actually live can be a really healthy reality checking thing to do. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that is important because far too often we have, and this happens both for men and women, we have these unrealistic standards that are dictated by the groups that we form, right? Like all the time on this channel, I have people that sit right here, I have women that sit right here that will say, listen, I need male perspective because when I'm hanging out, it's usually I'm with my sisters, I'm with my aunties, I'm with all my female friends, and we all start to talk about all the things that how we're doing all of these things right and why we can't get a man. And it's until you have these reality checking conversations with men in order to understand kind of where it is that you really rank and you really stack, depending upon the things that he is perceiving that that woman is bringing to the table. But the same thing can happen for dudes, because I've seen it a lot, you know, as well. And a couple of my friends, like, we'll all be, you know, in a circle talking about that, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, that, the third, da, 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 da. And then at the end of the day, a fourth of what we said what was going to happen is what actually happened. And I think things would have turned out a lot bit differently if we were portrayed in a certain manner or had a certain or change in the ways that we moved or the strategy that we put forth.
Do you want to have to pay substantial bills? They tend to want a man who is in that top 10%, $100,000 to their top 5% or even 1%. And here's the reality. Do you want those problems? Because as a man who has dated beautiful women, I will tell you what I know more than anything else for men who have those kind of women if it doesn't work out or they pick the woman for the wrong reasons, one of the first things they say, I just want somebody that's going to be nice to me.
That's a fact.
See, human beings always want what they can't have, but it's the question is, why do you want what you want? Then go get that thing. And what we're trying to do is help level set more guys to realize that, look, man, there is a lane for all of this. And here's the thing, put it in the sales analogy. Big fish called whales accounts.
Let me just comment on that real quick before he goes into that sales analogy. There's something to be said about human psychology that we are more attracted to things that we cannot necessarily get. So I think what he's getting at is there can be a sacrifice, right? There could be a sacrifice because you can identify a 9 and you're like, damn, she's all into me and look at her, she's beautiful. But you're willing to sacrifice some of the red flags that you are seeing. And this happened to me in my life as well. As someone who has gone out and dated baddies, right? I was more willing to sacrifice some ish that I saw that was like glaring problems that I would immediately point to the finger at and said, nah, I'm taking my ball and I'm going to go play over here if they weren't as bad. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's what he's mentioning when he's trying to formulate that thought. There's a lot of people that want what they cannot get, and they will strive and stop at nothing until they get it. And they think that settling within not getting what they want is settling, when really is it just your expectations are too high, right? And you don't understand the reality that you have placed yourself in. I think what's also interesting about that, there's a lot of people that look outwardly in social media, and what they look at is other people's lives and their perception of their lives, of what they have done to get the things that they have earned, whether it be from a fiduciary perspective or whether it be from a relationship perspective. But far too often, I see an entitlement in thinking that you can move in the same rooms that they can move without putting in the work, right? That you can pull these same type of chicks without putting in the work, and then they get angry when they're unable to do these things. But do understand is a lot of these high value dudes are putting in the work.
That's a 0.1% chance that you get them. Shoot your shot, but don't bank on it, because you'll go broke trying to close those things. See, what we don't want to tell people to do is find something to fit you, because that sounds like you're settling and this and that. And I'm like, when did working with somebody to fit you become such a bad thing?
Yeah.
So that's a whole video in itself.
No, we can go there. We can go there. We can go there. Let's stay there, because this leads me to what I've realized has gone on, going back to the initial point about not being able to rank yourself. So you're familiar with the idea of assortative mating, right?
Yes.
So basically, for people who don't know, assortative mating is that people want someone who's similar to them. If I'm Nigerian, I want Nigerian. If I'm Catholic, I want Catholic. I'm Republican, I want Republican. You usually want somebody similar to who you are. But the problem...
My man is out of focus, and it sounds like his mic's not even working. My G. The production quality, like I said in my last video, be up and down, up and down. Shout out to the roommates. I get it. Hashtag progress over perfection. Happens to me as well. My G.
What occurs now is, especially, we'll get to the women point later, so fellas, relax.
All right.
What happens is when you view yourself as a top-notch male,
Yes.
you then feel as though mating what fits me, like you said, find someone who fits you. Now you feel like what fits me is a top-notch woman.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so you say, I don't want any of these adjustable 6s, 5s, I don't want anybody. I just want, I want the 8s, 9s, and 10, because I, as a man, am an 8, 9, and 10.
Right.
Let me just comment on something real quick. And this is, I was actually talking with my boy about this the other day. If I was to ever get in a long-term relationship, as you guys know, I haven't been in a relationship in over 15 years, right? I know some of y'all are like, yeah, okay. I'm not going my own way. I just move a little bit differently. You understand what I'm saying? But I was having a conversation with one of my best friends the other day, and we were talking through kind of if we were to get in a long-term relationship. And here's what I've noticed is like the better that you go, right? Like once you get beyond the 8s, you get into the 9s, and some of those that tip into the 9.9s or what have you, Like the higher that you go, the more problems. And I've seen it in so many different ways. And I was like, yo, we was kind of joking with each other. And I was like, if I was ever getting a long-term relationship, it's probably gonna be with a strong 8, with a fantastic head on her shoulders. You understand what I'm saying? One that I can engage with in a conversation and not feel like I'm talking to a child after a while. Because that can happen when you get these folks that just sit well in this entitlement of, because I look this certain way or I'm of this gender, then you are supposed to treat me a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? And they don't have ways to think through or frameworks to think through very basic concepts in life. So you're always having to teach and pick up after their mistakes and coach them through drama. Like, it seems to be correlated. It seems to be immensely correlated. And it seems to be more correlated to me from the beauty and how the mentality works for women. Because at 20 years old, 18, 19, 20 years old, they have these decisions to make of how they want to lead their lives. And far too often, if they wait beyond that, then there's not a lot of a chance to go back and to make changes on the decisions that they're making. But if they decide that they can rely on their beauty, right, or not feel the need to be uncomfortable to challenge themselves, to improve themselves, that they can sit well within the space that they are at, and they find themselves unable to contribute later on in life to a high value man that is looking for someone who he can help build with, not like the degree of high level where he's already built a kingdom and he just wants you to be placed somewhere amongst his others in his harem because of the way that she looks. But the women that, want to be able to contribute can more so do that if, what I find, as if they either grew up an ugly duckling, right, or they're right in between that 6.5, 7, maybe up to an 8, right? And then you'll get those few unicorns between an 8 and a 10 that can do that, right? And they've gone out throughout life and challenged themselves and, understood, like, if you ask them a question like, what do you think about, being, your role would be in a long-term relationship, or if a marriage, for those of y'all that are interested, and she has like concrete things that she's putting behind that, you're like, oh, okay. Well, peace. You're gonna give who you're married to, that man, peace. Oh, she's got a good mind. At least the words. You don't know about the actions, but but I find like the better you get, like from a woman's perspective, like the more drama that I've seen like within my life. But I don't know. You guys tell me. Leave a comment down in the description box down below. Okay, if y'all found any blue lobsters, trap it so we can study it, so we can learn more about it. All right, let's keep going.
And so that's one of the biggest things that I've been seeing going on, is that a lot of people are not willing to be honest with themselves to see really what fits you along the lines of assortative mating.
Well, and it gets even deeper than that, because we have told everybody that everyone can win. So here's the thing: to get from time immemorial, beautiful, powerful men are around beautiful women. Okay, we understand that there's a standard, but see, here's the thing: if you've been told everybody can win, and you want the outcomes, the 8, 9, or the 10, but you don't have the high value resource that the group defines, you try to pay for it in different ways with swag, game, but it's all like it's counterfeit currency, because at the end of the day, cool, you may be able to get her, but can you move in these spaces? Because when you go around these other men who this woman would tend to hang in these circles and hang around these kind of men, do you fit with the other guys? And they're like, oh yeah, and see, that's the thing. Most guys realize that. So they know, and here's the thing, men are more realistic than women because we get rejected more often. But it's still out there. They still want it. So here's the thing. I tell guys, want what you want, but buy what you can afford.
Let me comment on this real quick. I think this is where I differ a bit from the way that I'm hearing Kevin summarize this. It seems like Kevin, when he describes high value, he's talking a lot about like actual money value, When I talk high value, I'm talking about the full kit and caboodle. Maybe he's saying that as well, but maybe I'm just not picking up on it. When I say kit and caboodle, right? What are the things that I like to bring up? How you were focused in on your purpose or your passion. There's plenty of women that are okay with you not being financially in the six-figure club and above, but as long as they see that potential of where it is that you're trying to go, how hard that you are trying to work to get there, they can make concessions, right? From a fitness perspective, what is your body doing? Are you skinny fat? Is your body atrophied, right? Are you just chilling on the couch eating Doritos? What's your diet at, right? Like, what's your mental health at, right? Like, how are you taking care of your mental health, and who are your friends? Like, who's in and around your circle? I think, like, to me, the equation of high value is a lot more to do with the full spectrum of categories that determine your masculinity. But I do think that your ability to provide, right? Your financial education, how much you have in investments, how much you have in your savings is very important. How it is that you spend your money, how much money it is that is coming in forms of income and income streams. You see what I'm saying? So I think he speaks at it more from a financial perspective. But I think for me, when I determine kind of where you are at as a man and right, like what I think that you'll be able to achieve, for me, it's a more comprehensive view in determining what you should be able to achieve. Fantastic video. Shout out to the roommate. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. I think it was a fantastic video. I appreciate the back and forth. Also too, so this is a short clip out of a much longer video. I haven't seen the entirety of the video, but guys, leave a comment down below if there's other parts of this conversation that you would think would be good to react to if you had any questions regarding what any of the two brothers have said here today. Yeah, that has been your video. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Hit me up. I got an Instagram as well, at Mediocre tutorials and reviews. It's long, but you know how to spell. If you can't, link down in the description box down below. I got a Patreon as well. Go up there and see what the community has to offer. Link again down in the description box down below. Until next time, YouTube.